Hey, what's going on guys? I'm here again with another video featuring the ZOTAC Zone handheld gaming device. So today we're actually going to be diving into some key things that I didn't fully cover in my initial impressions video, and these are things that are really important for anyone considering getting this device. I did encounter a couple of issues at the beginning which I briefly mentioned in my impressions video, and fortunately there were actually fixes available that I initially wasn't aware of. And to be fair, some of the confusion wasn't entirely on me. ZOTAC didn't provide clear information about certain aspects of their device. It was only after, reaching out to their support team that I truly began to understand what was holding this device back. And there's just actually one thing that has truly impressed me so far, and that is their customer support. And honestly, they have been incredibly responsive, which, trust me guys, it's a big deal, because a company that actively listens to feedback and provides timely support, that's always a good sign, right? And if I'm being honest with you guys, this is actually the one reason why I'm deciding to hold on to this device for now. So anyways, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the issues that I initially encountered, what I got wrong, and more importantly, how to fix them. Again, these fixes are essential if you're thinking about picking up the ZOTAC Zone, because I can almost guarantee that you are going to face the same issues. And that's because the current units on the market don't have those fixes pre-installed. So unless maybe you want to wait till sometime next year. And by the way, just a quick heads up to you guys, I'm currently working on my most exciting video of the year, which is going to be about the best handheld gaming device of 2024. I've never done anything like this before, and this is actually going to be the first. I'm going to be featuring all the handhelds that I've tested on this channel from day one and crowning the best one. Trust me, it's gonna be fun. So make sure to be subscribed and of course turn on notifications so you don't miss this video. Alright guys, let's talk about the ZOTAC Zone. So the first thing that really soured my initial impression of the ZOTAC Zone was the black screen issue. So here's how that happens. Okay, when you try to load some games, the screen just goes black, which is normal for a loading sequence, of course, but instead of loading the visuals later on, the screen just stays black. And in this moment, you can actually still hear the game running in the background, but there's no image. So at first, I actually tried changing the resolution to see if that would actually fix the problem, but no. I even did a factory reset, which didn't help either. And by the way, here's a pro tip for you guys. If you need to factory reset the device, do not use the reset option in the settings menu, because while it's actually going to reset the device, it's also going to remove the ZOTAC's launcher interface completely, essentially turning your handheld into just a standard Windows device. And this was exactly what happened to me. So instead, you actually want to go to the ZOTAC website, download the recovery image, and use it to create a bootable USB flash drive. It might actually sound intimidating, but trust me, it's not as bad as it seems, right? Just follow the instruction on their website and the device will handle the rest. It's actually quite straightforward. But if you're still unsure about that, just let me know in the comment section below and I'll be happy to make a dedicated video to walk you guys through the process. Okay, now coming back to the black screen issue. So I actually contacted the customer support, and to my surprise, I got a super fast response. So they explained that the problem was due to the display firmware not being updated on some of the units, the early units I should say. And the fix was also relatively simple. Another step-by-step process, and within minutes everything was back to normal. So the next problem I actually encountered has to do with the frequent game freezes and occasional complete crash of the system. Initially I thought this was due to the insufficient VRAM, since it only came with 16 gigs of RAM. So I tried allocating more memory to the RAM, but it didn't actually work. So once again, I reached out to the customer support and I got an immediate response. And it turns out actually that the problem wasn't just causing the freezes and the crashes, it was also affecting the device's overall performance in gameplay. And even if you go to the website, you'll see that they address this as a visual memory issue that's affecting earlier units of the ZOTAC Zone. So the thing is that it's not exactly the size of the VRAM that was a problem, but it's how Windows is automatically allocating the VRAM usage of each application open, and this was actually the problem. And also they provided a step-by-step fix, which of course I followed, and not only did it resolve the freezing and crashing issues, but I also noticed slight improvement in gaming performance. Now, the third issue has to do with the HDR on this device. But first of all, I'd like to mention that without HDR turned on, the HDR display already looks stunning, so much so that I initially thought the HDR was enabled. When I realized it wasn't, I decided to turn it on, expecting, the visuals to improve even further. Instead, the screen looked completely washed out, worse than the HDR, right? They explained that, this issue arises because HDR requires different contrast and brightness parameters than the HDR, so it was not properly set, on default. And of course, they also provided detailed step-by-step information on how to fix it, which of course I followed. But this time, even though it worked, I still couldn't quite achieve the visual quality that I wanted. So for now, I've decided to stick with the HDR because it already looked fantastic. But for those of you who want to use HDR and you notice this issue, just know that there's a fix available on their website. And by the way, I have added the links to all the fixes in the description below, so you can easily access them, and use them if you need. And so regarding everything, this is what I actually want to say, okay? Issues like these are pretty common with first releases, right? It happened to the Asus ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go. So likewise, the ZOTAC Zone is actually their first ever handheld gaming device. So I didn't expect it to be perfect out of the gate, right? But what really stood out to me though in everything is ZOTAC's amazing customer support. Their willingness to address issues quickly and provide fixes and engage with their users has actually convinced me of their potential in a handheld gaming space. And with these fixes in place, I would say the ZOTAC Zone is now much closer to the device it was meant to be. So with that said, I would say I'm actually excited to see what ZOTAC can bring to the table with future handheld. Plus, I'll be featuring it in my next big gaming handheld for 2024 video. I'll be putting it up against the likes of the Legion Go, the Ally X, and the One XPI X1. Of course, the Steam Deck OLED as well, to see how it stacks up against these devices. So make sure to be subscribed and of course turn on notifications so you don't miss this video. And also guys, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.